I'm Brittany. This is Mo Run, and welcome to Gaywatch, where we watch and read gay things. It's a little bit of a chaotic moment right now for reasons that I will explain in a second. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us today as we finish Erha Volume 10 today in the conclusion of a really, really funny bonus story. Here's how it works. We read for a couple of hours. We take a break around halfway through, and we typically read around 40 to 50 pages. We, are on page 293 for chapter 3 of The Only Possibility. We have a book chat on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or whenever we have a reading stream, for YouTube members and patrons to talk about what we read in the previous stream before we read more in the next one. I have not read this series before, so I will be reacting, theorizing, discussing, etc. as I go, which means no spoilers are allowed in the chat or comments for the sake of myself and any other new readers. What else? I have truly been thrown today, as I will talk about here in just a second. I know there's other things. If you're looking for other queer bookish chats, then please direct your attention to the description box, which is where you can find an evergreen link to the Gaywatch Discord, the public version of it. And there are also trigger warnings down there, should you need them. Now, just to make absolutely sure, because I've been really screwed by technology today, you can see me and hear me, right? I'm not going to look as fantastic as I usually do, because in the past few days, my internet was nuked for like 3.5 days. And it only came back yesterday, and I think my internet service provider is still running around with their entire bodies on fire, trying to piece together the interwebs for people in my area. Because I discovered today that I cannot stream at the quality that I usually do. That's seemingly impossible at the moment, and we just need to wait for the internet to sort its shit out. Fortunately, this is the last stream before a little bit of a break, and I'm going to make sure that by the time we start up for volume 11 of Erha, that this problem is solved. And it should be. Which brings me to the one little announcement that I have before we actually start. Volume 11 for Erha, unless it's lagging for you guys already, let me check. I'm going to be keeping like one eye on the stream this entire time because I am paranoid. If it's just a small lag, that's fine. On my end, it looks fairly disastrous. The actual stream, nope, there it went. It's trying to recover. It might be screwing me. That was a dip. Listen. It should be coming back now. I will have an eye on the signal strength. It dipped into red for a second, but came back green. It gets 3 strikes from me. So it just did that once. If it does it again, it's on fucking watch. And if it does it a third time, then I will have to end the stream wherever it is. But we should be back to normal. It's like frozen on my end in YouTube. But everything else in OBS looks fine. So I'm having to go by you guys. You can hear me fine. That's great, at the very least. So, holding this stream together with duct tape and gay hope, I am going to start reading chapter 3 of The Only Possibility, which is an AU, a modern AU, in which Shuemeng has to try to get Mo Run to not be gay. That's the short version of that premise. And Meat Bun's having way too much fun, every like single line is layered with irony to the point where if I read something and I don't pick up any irony for whatever Erha reason, I feel like I've just missed it. Like it's always there. Whether or not I see it depends on if the dots connect. But I'm just assuming that every single phrase is indeed some sort of joke because that's what it feels like. Okay. Sunset smeared caramel light on the glass of the gymnasium. It's a modern, AU, satirical story of ridiculousness, and she still comes at me with that for an opening line of a chapter, not even the story. Outside, the skies were the rich red of brocade. Shui Meng and the little dragon did a lap around the building. Hardly anyone was here at this time of day. Practice was over, and the only lights left on were in the equipment room. Man and dragon looked at each other and struck out in that direction. Inside, they found an adolescent Mo Run. He was in 7th grade, but had yet to hit his growth spurt, likely because his family was too poor. Food was scarce at home. He barely looked different from the child at the noodle shop. Mo Run's scrawny limbs were drowning in a school uniform that swallowed him up like a burlap sack, and his dirty hair hung lank around his face. A ghostly little thing, easy to overlook. That's another thing. Like, it's all satirical fun, haha, but this is also a meat bun, and just do not trust her to do anything purely for just joy and laughter. That's just not how she operates. The little ghost sat cross-legged on the ground with his back to them, tidying up the badminton birdies left by the other students. "Why's he all alone?" asked Shui Meng. "Isn't anyone going to help him?" The dragon flipped through the mission pamphlet, frowning. "Let's see. They had a badminton tournament with the neighboring class this afternoon and lost badly. His teammates all thought it was Mo Run's fault, so they left him here to clean things up alone." It clicked its tongue. "Ah, poor kid." Being made a scapegoat was a novel concept to Shui Meng, spoiled darling of the heavens. He blinked in confusion, and only after several long seconds did his eyes widen with comprehension. "Fucking hell," he raged. "What kind of bullshit is this? Picking on someone just because you lost a game? Did these people get their heads slammed in the door as kids?" It's the beautiful thing about Shui Meng. He's a spoiled brat, but he was raised by people with such good morals that he's not like a tyrant. Oh, that is a loaded word in this series, and that was not intended as a tyrant. You know what I mean. I commend your righteous spirit, dear Shui Meng, but our objective right now seems to be triggering the next meet cute for the little underdog. I commend your ruthlessness, four-legged worm. Shui Meng rolled his eyes, then scooted closer to study up on the new female love interest. At this point in the game, there were 3 routes they could trigger. The first one is called Yalan. She's a senior 2 grades above Mo Run. Then she's going to graduate soon. The candle dragon shook its head. "No way. There are too many things that could go wrong." "You're right." Shui Meng narrowed his eyes and looked at the next entry. The next is Rongyan. She's the principal. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. The candle dragon gaped at him. "Mo Run can romance the principal?" "She's 36. He's only 13. That's not a fucking age gap. That's an age Mariana Trench." Accurate. And also low-key invoking the name of my favorite band, so thank you. They were still arguing when a big red X appeared on the guide, followed by a line of small text, wobbly with embarrassment. "I'm so sorry, ORZ. I made a mistake. She's not romanceable. Ooh, my face hurt by the end of last stream. It's already on the way there. The candle dragon gawked. So the AI in this AI guide stands for artificial idiocy? Shuimeng asked. That's generally what that, yeah. Very prescient meat bun. Abashed, the guide scrubbed out the lines about Rongyan, moving so hastily it accidentally wiped out half Yaolan's photo as well. One left. Shuimeng flipped the page. This girl. Lo Xianshen. According to the guide, Lo Xianshen was the prettiest girl in Mo Run's class. It's too funny. Lots of the boys had crushes on her, but she never let it go to her head. She was gentle, well-behaved, and kind. Perfect, this is the one, said Shuimeng. Sing her praises anymore and I'll fall in love too. Perfect wife material. That's just your opinion. The dragon was far more worldly than he. Some men have more unique tastes. Her heels have to be 4-inch stilettos, no shorter, complete with red lipstick, a little leather crop, sunglasses, a uniform cap, and a skin-tight bodysuit. What kind of woman are we describing? Dragon? The type of woman who doesn't just slap you once when she gets angry, she'll backhand both cheeks equally. We're learning too much about this dragon. I think you're talking about elite VIPs of a beady SM club. How would you know this? Whether Mo Run had VIP tastes, they didn't know, but they were at least certain Lo Shanshan was a likelier target for success than Yao Lan. Let the romancing commence. Man, we didn't put Tangerine Girl through fucking enough in the main story. Figure out how to keep Mo Run in the equipment room until 6 o'clock when the self-study period starts, Shuimeng read aloud. Make sure he looks super sad and pathetic. What else? Shuimeng reviewed the guide again. That's it. That's it, exclaimed the dragon. That's it, said Shuimeng as he closed the book. The dragon craned its neck to peer at the clock on the wall. It's almost 5. We only have to keep him here for another hour. The two of them rolled up their sleeves and got down to business. Stalling for time was too easy. They watched Mo Run carefully, and just as he'd painstakingly put each racket back on the rack, they cast a spell to make it sway. With an unnatural totter, it collapsed, scattering ping-pong balls and paddles across the floor. Just checking in. Are you guys experiencing any lag? Because I'm in the yellow over here. And I have some dropped frames, but nothing crazy. And it's recovering. I'm just checking in. Is there any lag going on for you guys? It actually does seem to be, the video feed seems to be hitting you guys. The latency seems to be greater than it should be as well. No lag, mostly fine, now and then. Okay. Oh, shoved. There it dipped into the red. I'm going to go ahead and count this in general as strike 2. We might have to keep it to an hour today. But that's all right. We're really playing it by ear. Okay, we're in the green. I would like to at least get an hour. You know what I'm saying? Well, hello. Where did I? Ah, there we are. Mo Run stared in silence. As the teen's ink-dark eyes widened in puppyish hurt, Shuimeng and the little dragon both felt guilt prick their hearts. But surely they weren't doing anything wrong. Mo-Run hastily began tidying up again. He was nimble, and clearing the floor took him hardly any time at all. Though he was left sweaty and panting by the time he finished, he seemed born to tidy. Shui Meng watched in shock as he put the last fallen paddle back in the bucket and shoved it in the corner. The entire process had taken barely 15 minutes. Speechless, he swallowed and elbowed the little dragon. Do it again. Mo-Run watched the equipment rack have an aneurysm and collapse for a second time. He was beyond words. Then came the third and the fourth collapses. We're not thinking we're haunted. I'm thinking I'm haunted. This happens to me. I don't care how young I am. The equipment rack is haunted. They watched Mo-Run exhaust himself, scampering all over the gymnasium after those balls. He was dripping sweat and his eyes were hopelessly confused, but he still cleaned up each time. He repeatedly checked the steadiness of the rack and carefully put the equipment back in its place, only for it all to go tumbling out again. After the fourth time, Mo-Run stood dazedly in front of the equipment rack, tears welling in his eyes. He likely thought another student had set some high-tech prank on him. Well, that's actually not too far from the truth, really. Clutching a basketball, his scrawny form looked all the more pitiable. Shui Meng couldn't take it anymore. His conscience was killing him. Are we the bad guys? The candle dragon put its pudgy paws over its small, beady eyes. No, it wailed. You're the bad guy. I'm just a bad dragon. I'm just a bad dragon. Speaking of low-key shout-outs. It was 5 minutes to 6. Panting, Mo-Run fixed the rack at least 4 times taller than he was and climbed down the ladder. He stood in front of it, hesitating for over 10 seconds. Nothing happened. It didn't fall over. Finally, he let out a breath of relief. He shuffled wearily in the direction of the door, blissfully unaware of Shui Meng and the dragon squabbling right next to him. You do it. No, I just did it. I did it way more times than you. I refuse. My conscience won't let me. It feels like I'm bullying a little kid. You think I feel any better about it? It was 3 minutes to 6, just as the handle turned in Mo-Run's hand, just as their mission was going to fail again. Shui Meng pulled through. He clenched his jaw and hardened his heart, thinking of those long hours rubber-stamping proposals. Squeezing his eyes shut, he struck the equipment rack as hard as he could. With a tremendous crash, the entire rack slammed into the ground. A huge cloud of dust ballooned up. The room was an even greater mess than when Mo-Run started. They were all struck dumb, be it the invisible Shui Meng and Candle Dragon or the young Mo-Run cowering by the doorway. But it's finally 6, right? The dragon patted Shui Meng, whose heart had shattered alongside the equipment rack. Ah, yeah, it's not like you wanted to do it. You know how they say heaven gives its heart its battles to its strongest. Heaven gives its hardest battles. He doesn't finish the sentence. But it's heaven gives its hardest battles to its strongest warriors. That's such a... Oh my God, that's such a Christian tagline. That's fucking taking me out. Did I turn a page? Hang on. I did. Thank you. Shui Meng was still crouched next to Mo-Run, who was silently picking up yet again. He bit his lip. Shut up. The dragon fell silent, but no time at all passed before Shui Meng heard it shrilling again. Hey, look! Shut up! Yelled Shui Meng. Lo Shanshan's here! Cried the little dragon. Shui Meng's head snapped up. In the dim yellow glow of the gymnasium lights, the supple lines of Lo Shanshan's figure appeared outside the cracked open doors. She pushed them open, long, pale legs moving beneath her pleated uniform skirt. Her sneaker-clad feet seemed to skim over the vinyl flooring as elegantly as a mermaid from the depths of the sea. The clouds parted, light burst forth, angelic choirs sang. At least that was how Shui Meng felt. His eyes glimmered with tears. Thank goodness. He didn't have to go against his conscience and shove the rack over again. Just for that, he'd give Lo Shanshan full marks. Mo-Run? Lo Shanshan's voice was sweet and soft, like orange blossoms in summer. I'm stunned she didn't just break reality for a second and say tangerine blossoms. Shui Meng and the Candle Dragon looked to each other with tears in their eyes, convinced Mo-Run's gayness would be cured. Miss Lo, class sweetheart, swiftly followed the light to the equipment room and carefully stuck her head in. As soon as she caught sight of Mo Run still working, her beautiful eyes widened. Why is it so messy in here? Mo Run's head whipped up. Upon recognizing her, he sighed. The rack fell over. The teacher told me to get you for evening self-study. Lo Shenshen took another step into the room and looked around. Why don't I give you a hand? It'll go quicker with the two of us. We can go back together once it's done. Mo Run blinked. Sweat dripped from his eyelashes and into his eye, and he scrubbed at it hastily. Thanks, he mumbled. What a beautiful beginning, said the candle dragon, deeply moved. Positively heartwarming, Shui Meng pronounced. The teenage boy and girl busily began to help each other in the dim little room. Lo Shenshen's pleated skirt swished in time with her footsteps. Mo Run grabbed wayward volleyballs and brought them to her. The pretty girl stood on the rack scaffolding and arranged the equipment. The candle dragon sobbed, tears streaming over its scaly face. Human love stories are so cute. For once, Shui Meng agreed, likely because this was one of his own making. How sweet and simple. You can't help but be moved. Those two classmates went up and down the ladder, but Shui Meng's final destructive shove had been a bit too strong. It took much longer to tidy up the mess he'd made this time. Even a full hour of two people firing on all cylinders wasn't enough to finish the job. Soon it was time for the gymnasium to close. When the footsteps of the student on patrol that week sounded outside the doors, Shui Meng and the Candle Dragon were still busy congratulating themselves. They turned to see a handsome older student walk in, clutching a clipboard next to the badge on his chest. Both of them stared in blank shock. The smiles on their faces had stiffened like dog poop left in the sun. Vivid imagery, Meat Bun, thank you for that carefully chosen image. That's Shui Meng's mouth had gone dry, but the Candle Dragon could still scream, and scream it did. That's Chu Wanning! Chu Wanning walked into the dim equipment room. He had surprising composure for a teen. The sight of that hurricane-swept room only made him frown. What's going on? Mo Run turned, eyes sparkling with healthy exertion. Healthy exertion? Cleaning with Lo Shenshen had both cheered him up and calmed him down, and he thoughtlessly beamed at this unfamiliar student, his cheeks dimpling. The rack collapsed, so we've been cleaning it up. Shuizhang, you'll need to wait a while longer before you can lock the doors. Shuizhang has a footnote. It's a term of address for one senior in school. Thank you. Chu Wanning sighed. As Shui Meng and the dragon shook their heads frantically, he put down his clipboard and stepped into the room that had previously been inhabited by one girl and one boy. Despite his resting bitch face, the older boy had a kind heart. I'll help. Lo Shenshen smiled. That'd be awesome. Thanks, Shuizhang. Shuizhang? Thank you, my ass, wept Shui Meng and the dragon. Shui Meng's last blow to the equipment rack had been just a bit too strong. This was the butterfly effect at work. His small error had led to a completely different outcome. To their great dismay, when destiny permutations brought them 20 years into the future, they found Mo Run, who had become a key stakeholder in the school, chatting in the gymnasium stands with the present principal. This must have been why the guide had miscalculated. It had confused Principal Wrong with Principal Chu. It was once again just past 6. The sun set like a bright sea of glorious red maples on the horizon. Hardly anyone else was in the empty gymnasium. Mo Run and Principal Chu sat in the stands, watching the students on cleaning duty mop the floor. The facilities had been renovated and enlarged some time ago, and the gymnasium was now several times bigger than it had been when they were students. The students worked on one side of the gym, while the two of them sat at the other, too far away for the students to see their faces. The Candle Dragon clutched the last of its hopes in its sharp little claws and asked shakily, Where's Lo Shenshen? Shui Meng said nothing. He'd noticed Mr. Mo holding Principal Chu's hand in the shadows. When the students weren't looking, Mo Run even pressed close and snuck a peck on Chu Waning's cheek. I'm beside myself. Did she really just come up with a way to run the boys through various simulator? She literally did. She was like, how do I have a vignette of Mo-Run and Chu Waning that will just be a nice little montage of various opportunities that we would love to see them be either, sweet or horny in. She's woman after my own heart. For fuck's sake. Another respawn. Don't fucking tell me it's impossible. They gathered themselves and instructed destiny permutations to take them to another inflection point in the game. Where are we this time? Groused the little candle dragon, still reeling from the jump. Shuimeng was just as irritated. He scanned their surroundings. We're way earlier in the timeline. Mo-Run's probably in preschool right now. I doubt he even knows what gender is yet. Maybe this is our chance to change the ending. Ah! Although, man, you'd be surprised. Some people's gender, even in preschool, some people's sexuality, even in preschool, like, you just fucking, it's almost like you're born that way. So where is he? Shuimeng pointed to their right, reading out the words emblazoned on the door in round, inviting font. Just kidding. Children's play park. Last two failures. Oh, that's going to disrupt for you guys. Oh, we had a good stretch there of a little bit. It should have come back now. Yeah. That, actually dipped out. The stream actually dipped out for a second and then reconnected. So, dear God, if it does that again, we're doing our best to get to 4 o'clock at least. Somebody knock on something. Everybody knock on something. You've heard of holding hands? Now we're knocking on shit. But Shuimeng, wiser after the last two failures, was more cautious this time. Instead of charging in, he narrowed his eyes and thought for a long time. At last, he looked up. I wonder if we should change our approach. Yeah, that's the problem. What? The candle dragon twitched its whiskers. What do you mean? The last 2 times, we failed when Chu Waning showed up. I've got a bad feeling that even if we trigger the female love interest route this time, Chu Waning's secondary route will still turn up. It's like he and Mo-Run are destined to be together, some sort of in-game bug. That's a feature, not a bug? Thank you. The dragon flicked its tail in displeasure. What they have going on isn't destiny. They're more like a buy one, get one free shampoo deal at the supermarket. Ha! Oh, they're going to be proven so wrong. Exactly, said Shuimeng. Think about it. If we follow what the guide says and do all that work to bring him a pretty girl, then for some thrice-damned reason, Chu Waning happens to walk by. The dragon looked up with its beady eyes. It only had to think for a moment before a reedy scream issued from its throat. It'd be fucking game over. Shuimeng smacked his thigh. Exactly. It would be fucking game over. So what should we do? Shuimeng, the overachiever who'd bravely abandoned the walkthrough in favor of developing a wholly original playstyle, puffed out his chest with confidence. This time, we need to do more than trigger the love interest. We have to stop the NPC Chu Waning from ever showing up. He gets there eventually. Gratifyingly, the little dragon burst into applause, but after a moment it realized it was still rather confused. It tried to scratch its head only to find its paws were too stubby to reach. No! That's the cutest fucking little image! Ah! I need fan art of that. Shuimeng glanced at it. Feeling suddenly magnanimous, He reached over to help his little companion scratch its paper scales. The little candle dragon purred like a tractor engine under his ministrations. Your plan's pretty good, but I have one question. We didn't program this game. How do we know when Chuaning will show up? I've already thought of that, Shuimeng grinned. This time, hold your horses. Don't do anything. Let Mo Run make his own decisions and see how he meets Chuaning. Of course, it's best if he doesn't. If there's any scenario where they're likely to meet, we have to be careful when we do the actual romancing to avoid anything like it. Perhaps the little dragon was merely pleased with Shuimeng's massage services, or maybe it actually thought he had a good idea, or both. It smacked its lips and said with real admiration, You're right. Seriously, you're quite the impressive young man. Thus, the two compatriots were agreed. This time, they wouldn't do anything. They would simply go inside the playground and see how Chuaning would meet Mo Run. That's the end of the chapter. They're like, they need a case study, right? And yet, what a hilarious and hilariously beautiful way to just have an AU scene. She could have done like all of these little bits with Mo Run and Chuaning into like very short or pretty short, just little stories unto themselves. But she was like, no, let me come up with a hilarious conceit in which I can string all of these possibilities. We're on page 305 for chapter 4. Very quickly, actually, here, I'm going to toss a poll in the field because the latency is pretty bad for me. So, like, I say something and it's like a full minute before I see you guys respond. So instead, I'm going to put a vote in the field. Hang on. About the stream. And stopping at 4. Or going to... You guys get to watch me do this in somewhat real time because we're dipping down into the yellow again. We are by the seat of our pants today. There we go. Oh, wow. We're struggling even to put up a poll. I mean... I wasn't kidding when I said we're running on gay hope. I'm going to presume, low-key, that... Motherfucker. That it went through because everything looks stalled on my end. The great cosmic joke is that chat's now permanently loading for me. So I couldn't see your responses even if I wanted to. And of course, I would love to, YouTube. Thanks so much. It's actually not YouTube. This is not YouTube's fault. Not even remotely. So it's green on my end, and backing out, I believe, would back me out of the stream. But 1 second, I'm fucking YOLO. I'm going to experiment and see if I can back out and come back in and see what you guys are saying. Because I really can't do a stream like this without seeing you guys. 1 second.